Thank you. Sandra?
Nothing's free. Somebody's always got to pay for it. Let's bring in host of Making Money on Fox Business, Charles Payne. You are always following the money. The president wants to wipe out some of the student loan debt. I want from you, who benefits the most from that?
It's really amazing that the most fortunate people in our country, the college grads who, over the course of their lifetime will make 2 times what a high school grad makes, 3 times what a high school dropout makes. They'll live longer. They'll live 7 years longer than the average high school student, 14 years longer than a high school dropout. Their kids will be less likely to ever be victims of crime. I mean, these are the most fortunate people. These are the people on the path to living the American dream. Why the hell does Biden keep buying? Sandra, they got child tax credits last year. They promoted it. They always promote it. They bring a little black kid up and say, look what we're doing for child poverty. Up to $300,000. They get solar panels on their roof to get EVs. Talking about being a sucker. Since they did the $7,500 for EVs, all the major auto industries raised their car prices by how much?
Yep.
$7,500. But Tesla went a step further over the weekend, $15,000. And then this. What is the insistence on this? At this very moment, there's a record amount of Americans working 2 full-time jobs. A record amount working 2 full-time jobs. You look at, you should see the chart. On the basic expensive, when you add utilities costs, gasoline, food at home, and electricity, it is sky high. You've never, ever seen a spike like this in American history.
Most people don't need a chart. They're living through it. They feel it. They see the money leaving their bank account. They make the case, the White House, that we're going to wipe out the deficit with this Inflation Reduction Act. $275 billion will be cut from the deficit, right? You can put it up on the screen. At the same time, what would be added to the deficit by giving these student loans forgiveness is $250 billion. Yeah. So you're talking about wiping out whatever they wanted to tout that they were lowering from the deficit, Charles.
And it will be inflationary because, this is money that some people might have been saving money saying, okay, going to have to eventually pay back my student loan. Instead, they'll get the green light and they'll start to spend it in an environment where they're trying to get people to stop. But as far as this so-called Inflation Reduction Act, the most important thing to know is that all the spending happens immediately. The assumed money that they will receive, we don't know when that ever happens. When do you raise an army of 87,000 IRS agents? How long does it take?
Which is why the White House admits that you're actually going to see prices go up.
They have no choice.
In the short term as a result and barely go down. And again,
that barely go down is a hell of an assumption. It really is.
All right, I want to get you this last topic here because everybody's still talking about gas prices. The White House likes to say gas prices have come down. Great, but it depends on how you look at it because gas prices today at $3.90 a gallon. That means we are still seeing gas up 63% since Biden's first day in office. Jennifer Granholm talked to Trace Gallagher on Fox News Sunday over the weekend, and she is still out there touting their green energy initiatives no matter what it costs the American people. Listen.
There are significant incentives in this bill. If you are low income, you can get your home entirely weatherized. If you are moderate income, today you can get 30% off the price of solar panels. If you want to buy a used electric vehicle, you can get $4,000 off at the dealership today.
Charles, you're going to sit here and tell me that that is not the top priority in the mind of the low-income American family right now who's struggling paycheck to paycheck, working 2 jobs to pay for inflation, struggling to buy groceries and fill up their gas tanks to go to work, that their priority is weatherizing their house?
Most of them don't have a house. I mean, this is the Marie Antoinette. Maybe she won the award. I know if they ever had an award for every year. They just came out, the Fed last week with a survey called the Pulse Survey. Everyone wants to read it, particularly in the White House. 51 million folks with college degrees own homes. They're only 3%. Only 3% are behind in their mortgages. Less than high school, only 5 million own a house. They're 13% behind in their mortgages. So even the few folks who don't have college degrees who may have home ownership, a larger percentage are struggling to keep up with daily bills we just talked about. I don't understand. The Democrats have become the party of the elites. And it's one thing to be the party of elites, but they're taking taxpayer money from cab drivers and giving it to the people who with college degrees.
Oh, man. You know who's going to be, go off on that? Pete Hegseth. He's going to be joining us next hour. He'll be in your chair, and he'll likely be fired up as you are. Charles, great to have you here. And we'll see 2 o'clock on FBN. Thank you very much.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson tonight.